This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what will be so limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land?
Caution, you're about to enter the No Rush Limbaugh zone. The truth begins right now.
Together we stand, divided we fall, we fall, we fall, we fall.
Good evening, I'm Bob Tallard's Callers for the Constitution. And it is Thursday, it's April 23rd, 2026. That's Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. I want to thank everybody at Cox for helping me produce the show. Wouldn't be possible without them. Very gracious of them. Yesterday was Earth Day, 22nd. And here's what they put in the New York Times about Earth Day. There's nothing really left of the planet. Donald Trump and all of his Nazi buddies have destroyed really everything. Last month I showed to you Colorado River and Lake Mead and other lakes throughout the area about the and war causes a lot of devastation in Ukraine and Russia. Well, I don't care about Russia. Putin go to, well, I don't want to say any words on here because NCTV is just dying to throw me off the air. They hate my guts. Yeah, so that's the way life is, because I speak my mind and they don't like it. And anyway, so it was Earth Day yesterday, and it would have been, let's see, that would have 56 years we've had Earth Days. So here it is again. This is Happy Earth Day. There's not much left of it, folks. Global warming has been increasing every year for the last 12 years straight. If that doesn't tell you anything, then I don't know. The Colorado River is running at 33% of normal capacity flow. 33% of normal capacity flow. Hopefully that sinks in a little bit. Between CO2 and ExxonMobil knew this back in the 1970s with their technology that, excuse me, I have a cough drop in my mouth because I have a little tickle in there, so I excuse the cough drop, but either that if you listen to me cough for an hour. And you know, sometimes at the end of the show I start losing my voice, so I almost have to end the show early. But I do have my water here. My wife came up with a great idea. What I do is I microwave the water. This is Nature's Promise water. And I got this little cooler type thing in there, well, it contains the water. So I put it in the microwave because anything cold you drink is not good for you. So I microwave the water. I take the cap off, then I pour it into a glass, and I microwave the water for another minute. Then I put it in here because you put it in too long, it's going to melt the plastic, obviously. So you don't want to put plastic in your microwave for 2 minutes. So don't do that. Okay. So somebody's going to say I told them to do that. So there's a lot going on in the world. I mean, to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, it changes every 5 minutes. So what's going on with Iran, the war, and it's impossible for me to keep up. So I'm not really going to touch on it. And it's a war we never should have been in. Let's put it that way. The strait was already open, and it was flowing. Gas prices were pretty good. I think I was paying like $2.57 or something at the Citgo on the Berlin Turnpike. There's two of them. There's one. I'm already starting to lose my voice. There's one in Newington near McDonald's, and there's one also in Berlin. I think it's near Home Depot. I think, yeah, Home Depot, and that's in Berlin, just over the Newington line. But now I'm on NCTV, Cox Cable, which broadcasts in 6 towns, and that gives me an audience of 66,000 people. And I'm on YouTube, so you can Coalition for the Constitution. You can send anybody that message, and they can go to YouTube and they can just Google my latest show, or you can watch older shows if you want to. So my audience has expanded well into the thousands. So I do have the New York Times here. No, I didn't read it though, but I did go through it briefly. This guy who wants to be the new Fed chair is Kevin Warsh, W-A-R-S-H. I think my eyesight's not, even with my glasses, and I have bifocals on. Here's what the puppet looks like. That's what they call him. He's a puppet. He's a Trump puppet. And he wants to be the Fed chair. And the Fed, is illegal. The Fed is in violation of Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Congress shall coin money and regulate the value thereof. They're not doing that. The Federal Reserve is 12 banks. Were created under Rockefeller and Morgan, spent $350 million to bribe all the politicians to vote for it. And they voted for it on December 23rd when there was hardly anybody there, but they still stacked the deck to make sure that they won. And the Federal Reserve, basically what they do is, Congress says we need $1 billion, and they give the $1 billion to the Fed. They print the money, they charge us for materials and the paper. The paper's not worth anything because our money's not backed by gold or silver anymore. It's worth nothing, literally. So when you buy something with a piece of paper, here, I got George Bush here. This is the 9/11 conspiracy. Because I don't have any other money on me. I don't think I have my dollar bills. Oh, yeah, I do. Here's what Kennedy did. Kennedy on June 4th, 1963, and you can find these, has a red seal on it, and it says United States note at the top. It doesn't say Federal Reserve. These are printed by our Treasury Department. And here's an old Treasury, or an old Federal Reserve note. And you see it's got more writing under there. And I could redeem this at a Federal Reserve bank and get $10 worth of gold for it. But these are Kennedy notes, which he printed. He shut down the legal Federal Reserve banking system, and by doing so, he eliminated a lot of debt, because what the Fed does after they print the money and so forth and charge us for labor and materials, they loan the money back to us. So you got 12 private banks printing our money, then they loan the money back to us. So yes, that's right. Just like when you get a house or something and it says note at the top, that's why it's called the Federal Reserve note. The Federal Reserve Bank is not part of the federal government. They're an independent agency, even though the president does appoint them under usually the influence or pressure from other people. In this case, King Bonespur, he just wants to put his own puppet in there, and he controls the Republicans in the House and the Senate. I mean, they're all a bunch of puppets. They're actually worthless. They should all resign, really, because they're doing nothing. I can't imagine Mike Johnson doing calling no bills to the floor that are going to hurt King Bonespur. And I was listening to Senator John Ossoff. He's a senator from Georgia. He's running for re-election, but I was listening to a speech he made the other day, and it was amazing, guys. And the woman that was interviewing me even brought up presidential possibility. Because if you're a senator and you could win in Georgia and you're a Democrat, that means you could take the state of Georgia and you could probably get the blue wall. Because you get California, New York, Connecticut, all the states in New England. You get Nevada, Arizona, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then you'd get the Wisconsin, Minnesota. That's called the blue wall, basically up there. And so John Ossoff, he sounded very impressive what he was saying. He called Trump every name in the book. It was funny. So anyway, getting back to, I know I bounced around, but the Fed is an illegal entity that's running. You won't find them like when you look in government phone or regular phone book. You won't find them in the blue pages. You'll find them in the white pages. The reason why anything in the blue pages, if you don't know, is government agencies. Anything in the white pages is like whatever. I'm not gonna. Well, I'll mention World of Nutrition. I was going to mention some other company that's in town, but like World of Nutrition, right near the center of Newington. And by the way, because of the tariffs too, that Trump lost his war on the tariffs. I have the paperwork here. It's supposed to be getting billions of dollars back, and they're going to spread that out to a lot of the small businesses to get paid back from the money from paying for the tariffs, because they have to pay more for their product. They're going to charge more, especially a small business. A big business can probably take in some of the hit of the high price increases. That's what they want to. The CEOs, and the board of directors and so forth like that. They're all corrupt. They just want more money. They want profits to go up, and they don't care about anything. They don't care about you. They don't care about your mother, your father. Forget about it. They just want their profits to go up. They don't care if you die. It's irrelevant to them. Actually, to them, it's one less person they have to pay on food stamps. That's how they consider it, folks. That's what they consider us. That's it. There's a lot of gerrymandering going on. Okay. Right now, if it stays the way it is, the Democrats would actually gain 10 seats in the House, and the Republicans would gain between 8 and 9. That's maximum now. So that means the Democrats will win out over this, and it was because of Gavin Newsom in California, who said, and he had an election on it about what was going on, and he brought his case to the people. He voted on it. Not like Trump. He calls up. He's not. I'm sorry. I call him Trump. That bone spur, the guy who rapes 13-year-old girls tied to a bed. He called up. What's that guy's name in Texas? The governor. See, when you sub-reference, it's kind of tough. I'm almost 75. Well, I'm not almost. I'm closing in on it anyway. Greg Abbott, his name. So he calls up Greg Abbott in Texas, redistrict. So they redistrict, so they got 5 more. And what you do is, let's say Houston. Let's say Houston's got a lot of African-American people or people of color. They'll split it up into other red districts. What you do is reduce that blue district, and you cut the margins down, so you wouldn't be able to win that district because it's so marginalized. You just split it up. Okay? It's like taking a chainsaw to a tree. And even though I wouldn't recommend it because I happen to love the environment, but sometimes you have to cut down a tree depending, if it's close to your house or something like that. There's certain things you have to take into consideration. Or trees growing close to your foundation. You don't want it to crack the foundation because Mother Nature just is a tough cookie, so it could damage your foundation. So anyway, putting all that aside, the districts, so they would be up by 1 if this all went through. The Democrats would be up because the states are Missouri. I wrote them down here somewhere. See if they list them. Texas would be another one. Virginia, California. I mentioned California, but California. You break it all down into districts. I mentioned Texas, right? West Virginia would be another one. But even with all the gerrymandering, the Democrats would come out possibly better than Republicans. And the only reason why they're supposed to only do this every 10 years. It's in a charter somewhere. I'm not an historian. I'm not an historian on the Constitution. I do title the show is the Constitution because that's what we should live by, not Bone Spur's version of the Constitution where it breaks any law, every law. Jared Kushner and Steve Woodcock, these guys are billionaires. They're real estate billionaires, and they're all corrupt. and they should not be representing the United States of America under any circumstance whatsoever. Remember, Jared Kushner said he wants to live forever. And if he doesn't, his kids will. That's what he said. If he doesn't, his kids will. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about much about current events because it's excuse me, I got an eyelash here. I just popped a couple out. I know it's not the proper thing to do, but when you can't see out of your right eye, you know, it's and that's my good eye too. I'm in trouble. Let's see if we can find some stuff here. Here we go. A few Democrats out there, I want to give you a little heads up on something. There's almost 100 million gun owners out there. There is over 340 million guns out there, and about 1 trillion rounds of ammunition. If you think gun owners are a problem, listen to my voice already. If you think gun owners are a problem in this country, you got another thing coming. Yeah, sometimes somebody steals somebody else's guns, or sometimes a gun owner does do something stupid. With almost 100 million gun owners, once in a while something's going to happen, especially in the South. They're all freaking smoking crack down there, and they're drug addicts. They're living in, well, except for the rich. They're living, excuse me, they're living in stay on the floor, okay? So Jared Kushner wants to live forever. Or he said either that or his kids will. Well, believe it or not, pardon me, I need to do that. So I know it's not, but Marco Rubio did it once, right? And who else did it? Was it Ted Cruz? They use all kinds of things. Believe it or not, octopuses can regenerate with using their own tentacles. Sorry, I apologize. Own tentacles, and they can rejuvenate their body. They can live forever, octopus. So believe me, there's many billionaires out there, and they got a farm of octopuses somewhere, and they're not telling you. They got a research lab and best scientists in the world. So this says reprogrammed cells promise fight for disease, study finds. But this also is about if you can eliminate every disease that could ravage your body, you can live a long, long time. So that's what this is about, fighting disease. So billionaires are not your friends, folks. If you think they are, take a cruise on the Titanic. Hopefully some of you people on the far right can read. Scientists are trying to manufacture organs in space. That's why we go up in space. We didn't go for any other reason. In an environment where you have no gravity, you can do a lot more. And in some cases do a lot less depending on what you're doing. But here it says scientists are trying to manufacture organs in space. That's all you really need to know. They're trying. So if you can build organs that are super energized, you can live a long time. And that's what these guys want to do. They want to live a long time. I mean, Jared Kushner said, I won't put it there. It blocks the TV. Okay. You guys stay down there now. Behave yourself. Here's what rich people do. They don't pay any taxes. They say F you to everybody out there that does. Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Michael Bloomberg. 2 years, Trump paid only $750 in taxes. He brags he's worth $10 billion. I'm sorry, $10 billion. But not really a lot of that is part of an investment. Hope I got another cough drop on me. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's not a heck of a lot I can do. It's live TV, I'm not going to have it cut out. I'm sorry. So, Bone Spur paid $750 2 years in a row. Now, granted, a lot of money's tied up in buildings, and he went bankrupt 6 times, and he's raped 13-year-old girls, and he's cheated on all of his wives, totally immoral, unholy, and he sells Bibles for $69.99, and he'll even autograph it for you, folks. I wonder if Jesus would autograph the Bible. I wonder what Jesus would say if a billionaire was selling Bibles for $69.99 instead of handing them out for free. Being the good Christian that Donald Trump is. We all know he is, right? I mean, who is horrible enough to stick their finger inside a 9-year-old's vagina to kind of figure out or tabulate how tight the vagina is and then sell the girl to the highest bidder out there? That's what Trump does. Yeah. Epstein, he was murdered. Literally assassinated. There's a lot of things going on Epstein. You wait to see what happens. There's dead bodies all over his Arizona ranch, buried there. Trump sent 4,700 wire transfers to Jeffrey Epstein's island. What do you think they were? Christmas gifts or something? No, it was money. Because Epstein had cameras everywhere, in the bathroom, massage room, bedrooms. He taped everything. He was blackmailing everybody. And even the Rothschilds are in there. That's tight. No, I don't have a Roth. Yeah, I do. Stay there. Wealthy 100. Michael Kempler. And Uncle Donald's not in here, folks, okay? We got Pierpont Morgan. Of course, Rockefeller's in here. He's front and center. There he is right there. You see his picture? He actually, he had this, I forgot what this disease is. I had a teacher that had that. Where you lose all your hair. And he was always, ever since he was like in his 30s or 40s, he was wearing a wig. And his wig looks pretty stupid, too. Figured a guy could afford a better wig, right? My house is falling apart here. Actually, what just fell, I'll read it to you. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way it treats its animals. Gandhi said that. 85% of people out there went, who's Gandhi? I'm sorry, I apologize. But what I say, the show must go on, right? Blank or high water. I can't, because I got to be careful. NCT would just like to kick me off the air. Henry Frick was another guy. Well, this guy, he was terrible. One guy tried to assassinate him and shot him in the neck. He survived. He ended up beating the guy up. H.L. Hunt, he was involved in the Kennedy assassination. Warworth, the department store. J. Paul Getty, oil. Anheuser-Busch, you all know who that is. Morgan's in here. And if you wonder what JP stands for, it stands for John Pierpont. John Pierpont, that's what it stands for, in case anybody is wondering. Now, where is that little Nazi with the Rothschild? Andrew Carnegie's in here. He's another guy that ruined this country. John Jacob Astor. John Jacob Astor was on the Titanic. He was against the Federal Reserve banking system, which I was just talking to you about. And he died with his wife on the Titanic, along with 3 other guys who were adamantly against the Titanic. Here's okay. And he was against the, and what I'm about to tell you is true, folks. There was 3 other guys on the Titanic who were very wealthy, right under, as far as money and power, underneath John Jacob Astor. And the Titanic was actually, it was a crime scene. It was perfectly sunk because of John Jacob Astor When he came to America, he was going to oppose the Federal Reserve banking system, which probably would have shut it down, and it never would have happened. But Rockefeller, and by the way, I mentioned J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan was supposed to be on the Titanic, and guess what? He backed out right at the last minute. Jeez. Boy, there's a coincidence for you, huh? So, but it's true what I told you about Titanic. They had to kill these guys. They needed to get rid of them. So, well, hey, you hit an iceberg, man, and stuff happens, right? Yeah, you got Stevie Wonder driving the freaking thing. Yeah. No offense to Stevie Wonder. He's a great musician, a great talent, and a great singer. So I just, because he's blind, if you don't know who Stevie Wonder is, I just, name just happened to come to mind. Where's the Rothschilds? What page are they on? They own everything, folks. They have, they started out with a little corner store, even though Trump doesn't know what a corner store is, and they sold gold coins. This is back in 1770. His name was really Amscher Bauer. He changed his name to Baron von Rothschild. When he became very rich and wealthy, was able to start wars so he could make more money. So what he do is he'd loan money to both sides that were fighting. So he'd make money no matter what. You need for arms, you need uniforms, you need food, you need weapons, and this and that and so forth. So he'd loan money to both sides, fighting each other. He didn't care who won. But the Rothschilds are in the Epstein files like 12,000 times. So they are horny SOBs. I'm surprised. You're Rothschild. You could just hire a prostitute every hour to come in and do their thing on you and leave. They got the Rothschild brothers here. Let's see. Page 101. Sorry, folks, but I'm giving you a history lesson. It's free too, by the way. Just costing a little electricity. Don't they have it? They talk about the brothers, but they're in a lot of pages here, so excuse me. What the Rothschilds did was he sent this. I'm not going to go through a book and spend time. I'm sorry. I apologize. But he sent his 5 sons out to Italy, Germany, France to start to implement the illegal Federal Reserve banking system that I told you about. We used to call it the First Bank of the United States. The first time it was called. Sorry, probably looking at my ugly forehead. So we're paying a lot of taxes because the Federal Reserve loans the money back to us at interest. So we're paying money on interest on our own money. Interest on our own money. And that's why Benjamin Franklin made the famous statement, I don't know if I have it here or not. You know what Crispus Attucks is? Crispus Attucks? Anybody? Anybody smart enough to know anything about history out there? He was the first person they say died in the Revolutionary Wars. Remember the Boston Massacre? It was a snowy night. It was March 5th, 1770. And British soldiers opened fire. And he was an African American. He was the first person to die in the Revolution. That's what they consider as historical. This is Benjamin Franklin. The refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. It's right there for yourself. You can read it. Okay. So you have to learn things so you know what's going on in the world, and that's why I'm here, because obviously if you're a young kid out there and you're a teacher, tell them about the Federal Reserve. Mention Benjamin Franklin's that he or she does not know anything about the Federal Reserve, or an economics teacher, or they don't even talk about it. There's 12 banks. They start with A is in Boston, because they use letters. A is in Boston, B is New York, I think C is Philadelphia, D might be Atlanta, then up to Philadelphia, or Philadelphia might be D, then it goes south, then it heads west. But there's 12 banks that print our money illegally. So, and they charge us interest on it. And that's why we have $39 trillion in debt, folks. And you're not getting out of this debt, especially with Bone Spur in the White House, wanting to buy, now he wants to invade Cuba. Really? You know, Kennedy did everything he could to stop, because the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to go into Cuba. And they figured, because at the time, intelligence says that Russia only had about 50 nuclear warheads. We had 500 at the time. And Kennedy knew this. He knew that well, he didn't want war at all, but if Russia launched missiles, we could wipe them out. Right now, Bone Spur, we had a treaty with Russia that if we had a nuclear war breaks out, only 1,500 nuclear warheads can be fired at either one, going across the Atlantic in submarines. I mean, we could park a submarine in the Mediterranean. We could hit Moscow in 10 minutes, and they could do the same thing to us. They can move into the Gulf of Mexico. It's not called the Gulf of America. It's called the Gulf of Mexico. And they could just, you know, they could take out Miami. I mean, in less than 5 minutes. But so it's 1,500. But actually, Russia now has, because Trump dumped the treaty. Yeah, he just like every other treaty, the Iran treaty, which was holding, and we had no worry about oil with the Strait of Hormuz. But you know what? No, he doesn't care. He just creates havoc. That's what he does. And then he creates money. He's got Kirshner and Witkoff making money everywhere they go. This is such a corrupt administration. They should all be in jail. Steve Bannon, you name somebody. They should all be in jail. So they don't pay any taxes, folks. They're laughing at you. They're laughing at you, right? Musk purposely moved to Texas so he wouldn't have to pay any taxes. Yeah. And you fools voted for that guy. You should be deported. If anybody should be deported, it should be you, because you're so stupid. You don't know anything about history. Not a thing. Here's one thing I picked up. Just break my little rant there, but it wasn't a rant. It was just, I get intense when I talk about this. I got this Brooks Pharmacy. And obviously Brooks Pharmacy isn't around anymore, but it has a list of all the vitamins and what it can do for you. And it's very interesting. I have several books on vitamins and herbs, and let me show you. You should read this book, folks. It might enlighten you, okay? The 22nd Amendment. Okay. Trump cannot run a third term. Okay. That's the Constitution. Here's some other books. Got something, just do a Sarah Palin, right? Start writing on your hand. I'm going to show you some books. Washington Spies. This Alexander Rose. Washington Spies. Alexander Rose. You get an idea, and none of these people in here, like Abraham Woodhull, Anna Smith Strong, these are all brave people. Benjamin Talbot, who used to live in Weathersfield, used to teach there. Benjamin Talbot, and just a lot of other people that were in there in this book about Washington Spies. I have Virginia Guilfrey's book here, and I'm still reading it. I haven't found Bone Spur's name in there, but there is a lot of... Prince Harry's name is mentioned every other page, for crying out loud. In fact, again. That's Virginia Guilfrey in the middle. Right. That's that pimp, Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's Prince Harry over here. Okay. So on a lighter note, something to keep in mind. Laughter is the best medicine. Before I go to bed, the last thing I do is I watch Jimmy Kimmel. And he's funny. He always goes after Trump, because Trump is a traitor, a liar. When you're giving secrets to the Russians, and he is giving secrets to the Russians, a lot of our CIA spies have died because Trump wanted all the CIA files on all our agents overseas. And just before that, he had talked to his buddy Putin. Yeah, his buddy Putin for 2 hours. So Putin told him to get all the spies. What happens? A lot of these guys go missing or dead, could wind up dead. As a matter of fact, it was on Fox News. There's a list of about 11 scientists and a general. There's a general missing that's out there. I got his name in here somewhere. What time is it? There's a general that's missing. He went And I can't believe he didn't take a cell phone. He lives in, I think it was Arizona. And he left his weapon at home. Now here's a guy who should be, this guy was dealing with nuclear secrets and also UFOs, re-engineering them. Kind of like what Bob Lazar does. I'm surprised he's still alive, Bob Lazar. So this guy had a lot of information in his head. He was retired, but he was a general. He had access to nuclear fusion, nuclear weapons, and UFO technology. And he just went for a walk and didn't take his cell, because at least you could track him with a cell phone. You know, you could ping it. They haven't found him. He's been missing since February, I think it was like February 17th or something. This guy's been missing since. And it's what? It's April 22nd. The show will air, I think it's May 4th. It's on Cox Cable. I don't know when NCTV is going to put it on, whenever they get around to it, because they hate me. But, and it's also, once they download it too at Cox, it'll also be on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. So this is a book you should get. Okay? I really mean it. This book will enlighten you, because the drugs that they're pushing. I worked for the drug industry for 18 years, folks, and I left. I'm not going to poison your children because of what Monsanto's and Eli Lilly and Bayer and Takata's a new company, and they got that Entyvio stuff. You know what they do? You sit there and they poke a freaking needle in your vein for 45 minutes while you take in this drug. All right. So you can. It's for they use it for people with Crohn's and colitis. So, but this book is called Healing Secrets of Native Americans. Healing Secrets of Native Americans. I'll say it one more time. Healing Secrets of Native Americans. I bought this at Barnes & Noble over there in West Hartford. It was $7.98. Porter Schimmer is the author. Porter Schimmer, Shimer. Porter Schimmer. This book is amazing, folks. They talk about Indians getting shot 3, 4, or 5 times on the battlefield, and they were able to heal them. That's literally a miracle within itself. This is Richard Belzar, who passed away a couple of years ago, and I mentioned him. He was on that SVU or something like that crime show for many years. He was also a warm-up guy for Saturday Night Live. But here's Hit List, Richard Belzar, all right? You read this book, folks. Ladies, if you read this book, you will not go out at night. This is scary on how they killed people. It's amazing. Hit List, Richard Belzar. Okay, I mentioned Washington Spies. What's this book here? Drugging America. Rodney Stitch, I interviewed him on my radio show several times. Drugging America. We're lab rats, folks. We're freaking lab rats. That's all we are. And that's all we'll ever be. Did I show you the Rothschilds book? This is one of them that I have. Okay. The Rothschilds. This is by Virginia Cowles. Virginia Cowles. It's called The Rothschilds. Yeah. As you can see, I've researched it a little bit. Here's the only thing that's keeping us alive, folks. This is it. Constitution. Otherwise, I got a passport. I can go to Canada anytime I want. And please don't tell me, oh, Bob, if you don't like it here, you can go somewhere else. You know what? My mother worked at the Hartford Police Department for 30 years under Bernard Sullivan. I'll just make this real brief. And she was treated brutally in the Hartford Police Department by men who didn't give a flying, about her. And my mother suffered for 30 years working at the Hartford Police Department because we needed the money and the benefits. So don't ever trust a cop. Don't ever trust anybody of authority, because I don't. And this is Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, remember the one who came up with that fake drug thing? Oh, yeah, if I test your blood, I can cure you, and this and that and so forth, and all kinds of memories and this and that. And how safe is your water? Yeah. The MDC, I got these. Yeah, they're playing God. They're playing God. Water's poison, folks. You have 30 to 60 toxic chemicals in your water if you drink it. And there's human waste in there also, and pharmaceutical drugs, because people take so many drugs and it goes through your body, and guess what? Goes into the system. Here's one of the last books. This is Spies of the Revolution from Benedict Arnold and Nathan Hale. All right. Here's all the mail I get from WJMJ. I haven't talked about them yet. WJMJ radio station, great music, play great music. The general manager is Father John Gatzak, and I have people on the inside, and I have some friends who used to work there, and they tell me a lot. So they sent me 5. It's Archdiocese of Hartford, so they want my money. You know what they need the money for? The Pope doesn't live in a little inn or something like that. He lives in a freaking castle in Rome, protected by many guards. And when he goes out on the road, he's got his little Pope-mobile, which is bulletproof. He's got 21 people protecting him, heavily armed, protecting him. And I wouldn't want anything to happen to the Pope because there has been a couple assassinations against popes in the past. So, but the information that they have in those vaults in the Vatican would change world history forever. That's why you can't get in there. And I'll give you an example. I can get I don't live at this address anymore, so please don't firebomb the house. Can you read what that says? Central Intelligence Agency. That's my name, Robert E. Tallard. Remember Jesse Water, the little water boy? He was showing documents, and there was all lined out perfectly. Well, a government document, folks, it has numbers on it. It has numbers, has a date, who approved it. Sometimes there's notes on there. It's stamped, sometimes declassified. They got all kinds of things crossed out over here. All right. This is Mr. Lee J. Rankin. He was one of the, he worked on the Warren Commission. The Warren Commission, just a lie. It's got a number up here, Commission number 631. It has the date on here, March 24th, 1964. All government documents have numbers on them. Here's the last page, which is blank. It still has a number on it. And if Jesse Waters to have blank, just little black marks going on a magic marker. No numbers on it, no stamp declassified, nobody, because they write stuff on here. They show you this one. This guy wrote notes on the bottom of this one, all right? And this is a government document, folks. This is a real government document, not the crap that the water boy, the little water boy. And the Central Intelligence Agency sent me this personal letter. They didn't want me to go keep digging into the Kennedy assassination. Still alive. Central Intelligence Agency. That's my friend Lou Sprosser. He's no longer with us. So I won't show any more, but just to give you an idea that what a government document really looks like. Not the crap that they're telling you on Fox News. They're a bunch of Nazis over on Fox News. They really are. Truth will ultimately prevail where there are pains taken to bring it to light. Truth will ultimately prevail where there are pains taken to bring it to light. Justice is a big rug. Lady behind me said that. Justice is a big rug. When you pull it out from under one man, a lot of others fall too. Dorothy Kilgallen. And you can't go a show without showing a picture of your beloved Messiah. There he is, the guy you worship. Sean Hannity, he left the Catholic Church. You hear about that? He left the Catholic Church because he didn't like what the Pope said about his Messiah. Yeah, he left the Catholic Church. Well, he cheated on his first wife with somebody who was working at, where does he work at? Fox News, that freaking scumbag place. Yeah, so he, truth will ultimately prevail where there are pains taken to bring it to light. And that was by George Washington. I didn't tell you who said that. I know not what weapons World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Albert Einstein. I'll read it to you again. I know not what weapons World War III will be fought with, but World War IV we fought with sticks and stones. Albert Einstein. Here's what David Rockefeller had to say. This is from his own book. For more than a century, ideological extremists at either end of the political spectrum have seized upon well-publicized incidents such as my encounter with Castro to attack the Rockefeller family for their inordinate influence they claim we wield over the American political and economic institutions. I hope I'm not reading too fast. I'm sorry if I am. For their, let's see, where am I? Some even believe they were part of a secret cabal working against the best interest of the United States. Working against the best interests of the United States. David Rockefeller, he's an American citizen. He's dead now. He died March 20th of 2017. Let's see, I got lost. Of the United States, and for characterizing my family and me as internationalists, for conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure, a one world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I'm proud of it. It's from his own book, page 405, if you get the paperback, because I'm not going to give that guy that little, because he's one of the guys that was a willing participant in killing President Kennedy. So, in case you didn't know that. Hartford Current, this is from 2025. New Jersey firm admits contaminating brook. Right there, it's in black and white for you. I bet you people on the far right got their eyes closed. Oh, I can't. That's the truth. We can't see that. Here's Trump's with one of his lovers. Yeah. I got some more mail here. This ASPCA, just remember, only 3 cents goes to helping the animals themselves. The CEO of ASPCA is worth $7 million. Oh, business is booming on the Berlin Turnpike. That's Newington news. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised 10 people don't get killed today with all the traffic. Epstein files reveal billionaires' problems. Oh my God, billionaires got problems. This is Leon Black. This guy right here below my finger. In the Epstein files, it says that he paid Jeffrey Epstein $170 million over 6 years to shut him up because, like I said, Epstein was blackmailing everybody. And there's a lot of names on here. I got a list of the names of some of the people who went to Epstein's Island. Trump, Woody Allen, Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, Tony Blair, Mick Jagger, Phil Collins, Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, Naomi Campbell, Alan Dershowitz, Emily Taylor. I don't know who Emily Taylor is, sorry. So, Richard Branson. Trying to come up with some names you might know. Stephen Hawking was there. Okay. Harvey Weinstein was there. Actually, he's got a trial going on. He's trying to get dismissed. I remember reading about Ashley Judd. She turned him down. She met him in a hotel, and she thought she was going to get a film deal. And all he wanted to do was rape her. So Ashley Judd walked out, and Harvey Weinstein blacklisted Ashley Judd, and that's why I haven't seen her in a movie. And she was very good in movies. I thought she was very good. And I also liked her music, too. So those are some of the names of the people that are on the list. There's thousands. There are thousands. Yeah. Just a few. Yeah, I know I'm ranting a little bit. Change the station. I don't give a... Don't matter to me. You could stay stupid all your life. Huh? That's your problem. At least I'm telling you the truth here, folks. Whether you like it or not. Yeah, I'm running out of time. Yeah, I think I'm going to play, which is a proper song I play. Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who, just to let you know. Depending, hopefully I don't run out of time here. I have to squeeze in something else, but and I made the beginning of my show longer. It's about 2 minutes long. I played a version of the song The End. It's called The End by The Doors, by the way, my new Smedley, let me know if you got anything, okay? So I'm just looking through some notes here. Oh, wow. Trump announced today he pardoned Amelia Earhart and Robert E. Lee and Sirhan Sirhan. What a nice guy he is, huh? Uncle Donald, huh? So I mentioned this redistricting. Trump's ballroom's going to cost $400 million. What's more important, folks? How about putting money back in people? I worked 54 years. My family's been living in this town since 1955. I've been paying taxes to the town since 1955, and federal taxes. I started working when I was 16 years old in 1968. I retired in 2020 due to health reasons. But I was 69 when I retired. And here's Tanya Schlossberg Kennedy. She died late last year, and I forgot to mention her obituary. She is Caroline Kennedy is her mother, and Caroline Kennedy was President Kennedy's father. Caroline Kennedy. So you got President Kennedy, Caroline Kennedy, and Tanya Schlossberg Kennedy, and she died of cancer recently. So. Back last year. She was 35 years old. So it's too bad. I wanted to mention that for a long time. So Trump's going to legalize psychedelic drugs. That's I bet you. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Kash Patel, maybe he's jumping up and down. I mean, we know he's an alcoholic, and so is what's his name? Pete Hegseth. We know they're both now to be popping acid all day long too. Jeez, something to look forward to, right? Yeah, we'd probably be safer on the Titanic. Sorry. Trump is a traitor, folks. If you don't believe me, then you're dumber than you look. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and there's 32 countries. Trump wants to pull us out of there. If he pulls us out of NATO, that means all you've got is basically European countries: Poland, France, Germany, Norway, Switzerland, Finland. Spain is another one. Turkey is another one. Hungary, and after Viktor Orban lost the election, he was a fan of Trump's and Putin, that Nazi over there, KGB Putin. And so I'm out of time. Didn't even get to my papers. I want to talk about all those people that are missing, that have secrets about UFOs and stuff like that, and classified information. But so I wrote all that I never got to it. I got a couple pages. So, Smedley, let me know if you got anything, okay? We're out of time. All right. There is a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. And before I leave office, the high and noble office, I can't read it anymore, high and noble office, I intend to expose the plot. President Kennedy said that 7 days before he was assassinated. So, Smedley, let me know if you got anything. I'm Bob Taylor, Coalition for the Constitution, and it's been day after Earth Day. It's been Thursday. It's April 23rd, 2026. And I'm Bob Taylor. Remember, folks, we didn't start the fire. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Smedley, did you get anything? What do you got? Oh, okay. And finally, in the news, folks, Donald Trump announced today his plans to celebrate World War II. To commemorate its 97th anniversary, Trump plans to invade Poland. And that's the news. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
We'll be tip my hat to the new Constitution. Take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around. Pick up my guitar and play, just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. No, no. I move myself and my family aside. If we happen to be left half alive, I'll get on my papers and smile at the sky. Oh, I know that the hypnotized never lie. And nothing in the street looks any different to me. And the slogans are effaced by the line. And the parting on the left is now parting on the right. And the fields of thought no longer overnight. I'll tip my hat to the new Constitution. Take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around. Get on my guitar and play, just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Let the word go forth from this time and place that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans